Hello everyone, this is Keith from the Solo Gamers Club and welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to continue with our playthrough of Fortune and Glory, the Cliffhanger Game, versus the Order of the Crimson Hand. In the last episode I had one oversight, and that involved Dr. Zhukov and his cliffhanger that he had while he was going after the tomb of Medusa. When he completed his cliffhanger, which was the Clash of Swords, you're entitled to take a fortune from the temple even when you complete a cliffhanger. I never knew that until I was skimming over the rules, and I found that you can claim a fortune even after completing a cliffhanger. So Dr. Zhukov is going to take one additional fortune from that tomb. That puts it down to one left. Now, when whoever takes the last fortune gets the temple treasure. So this is going to be very important for us. We'll have to try to pull out all the stops for Dr. Zhukov to attempt to get that extra fortune. Unfortunately, he is in a cliffhanger there. It's lava flow, and that is going to be an agility test, and it's a deadly test. So he's going to need to get 2 successes with a single roll of the dice. So we might have to use some event cards to assist him, perhaps. So we'll get started with the next round. So far, our adventurers have done okay so far. We've limited the villain track to only a movement of 1. It's currently at 1, and we've collected a total of 3 fortune now out of the 48 that we need. So we need 45 fortune before 14 points are collected on the villain track. We'll begin by making our roll for initiative. And here's the initiative roll. All right, we've got the 5 is the highest, so that's going to be Jenny Butler once again. She will be the first player. And we rolled a blue 1, which is going to be Dr. Zhukov. He'll get to draw an event card. And he draws the event Expanding Influence. Event mob, play immediately. Place a mobster thug in 2 random cities on the board. Limit 1 per city. And then we have to do a reshuffle of the event deck. And the flavor text reads, "This is our turf now. Get used to it." All right. So we'll be placing a mobster thug in San Francisco and another one in Berlin. All right. And now we'll make our movement rolls. And those are our movement rolls. No one is going to gain any event cards from that. And we'll get started with Jenny Butler. Jenny Butler is in the Western North Pacific. She has 3 movement points. And I think what she'll do is she's going to move to the Andes and assist Jake Zane in his efforts to acquire the Mask of the Cursed Eye. So she'll move 1 and 2 into the Andes. Jacques Moreau is up next. He is in the Amazon jungle. He's got 5 movement points, and we're trying to get him to Rio de Janeiro to complete his See the World personal mission. So he'll spend a movement point and enter Rio de Janeiro. As we stated earlier, Dr. Zhukov is in a cliffhanger. He had a movement roll of 4, but he can't move. He's involved in that cliffhanger. And finally, we have Jake Zane, and he has 5 movement points, but he's also involved in a cliffhanger. Desperate struggle. All right, we'll go to our adventure phase now. And we'll begin with Jenny Butler. Now, this is going to be a combined adventure. So she is going to combine with Jake Zane in an attempt to pass this desperate struggle that they're involved in. When another hero moves into the space and they combine, they have to both work on whatever the situation is, and in this case it's a desperate struggle. So this is a cliffhanger with an assassin. It has a glory value of 3. It says he caught you off guard. If you can overpower him, you might have a chance. All right, this is a combat test, and we'll see what we've got here. Jake Zane has a combat value of 4, so I think Jake is going to be the primary adventurer for this cliffhanger, and we can have Jenny Butler in support. When you have a supporting character, they can exert, and that can allow you extra rolls of the dice. So we'll begin with Jake Zane and see if he can pass this combat test. And here's the roll. And he has one success, so that's good. We'll give him a progress counter, and then he can re-roll those. And he's done it. He's got a 5. So that is going to complete the desperate struggle. He's going to immediately earn 3 glory, and so does the adventurer that's assisting him. Both of them will earn the glory. So that's going to give them 1 progress marker, 1 danger marker towards the completion of that adventure. And we need a total of 4 in order to capture the Mask of the Cursed Eye. And we have to decide if we're going to press on or not. Jake Zane has 1 wound currently, but I think we're going to press on. And the next adventure is Market Chase, Danger Chase, glory of 3. This is not how you expected your morning to go. Lose them in the crowd or find a good place to hide. So we have to do an agility 5+ test or a cunning 6+ test. Let's see the values of our adventurers. Jake Zane has an agility of 4, and Jenny Butler has an agility of 3. So I think the agility test will be easier for us. So we'll have Jake Zane take the agility test, and Jenny Butler will be in reserve in case he needs help. All right, so he has an agility value of 4. Here is the roll. And he's got 1 success. We'll mark him with a progress marker, and he gets to re-roll those. And he's done it. He's got a 5. So that'll be their second danger marker. And we have to decide if we want to press on or not. And they're going to press on. They've selected the card Cargo Plane Mishap, Danger Flying, glory of 3. Something's not right. Your flight has been sabotaged. Find a way out of this mid-air predicament. It's a cunning 6+ test with 1 success needed. Now, Jake Zane is an ace pilot, and he adds 4 adventure dice during any flying test. This is a flying test, so he's going to gain his regular 2 cunning plus 4 for the ace pilot, so they'll give him a total of 6 dice for this. And that's what we're going to roll, a total of 6 dice. And here's the roll. We're looking for a 6. And he's failed. All right. Well, I think he's going to play his card too close. Play to force a test just rolled to be entirely re-rolled. Maybe used on yourself or another hero or villain. So we'll re-roll that and see if we can get a 6. I was going to save that for Dr. Zhukov's, but we need it here. Okay, here is the roll. And he still failed. He's got 5s, but not 6s, so the too close card has been burned. And now our options are, do we want to have Jenny Butler exert? That'll cost her a wound and allow her to roll 1 die for each of those that she takes. That's only a 1 in 6 chance. This is not good. Well, I think we'll try a couple of them. So we'll get rid of these dice, and we'll give Jenny Butler a wound, and then she's going to try to aid him by exerting. So we'll roll another die, see if we can get a 6. We did it. She's got a 6. Amazing. That is going to complete that danger. That's our 3rd. And we'll place that now in our collection of dangers that we've completed. We need to complete 1 more to take that artifact, and then we have to fight the Crimson Hand Acolyte that is currently at the location. So I think we'll press on. And our danger is Nightclub Rendezvous, Danger, Treachery, Femme Fatale, glory of 2. Discover the truth as you pick your way through the crowded nightclub. to meet your contact. It's a cunning 6+ test needing 1 success. Now, Jenny Butler has a competitive ability. She gains 2 fight dice against any mob or female enemy and has +2 adventure dice on any mob or femme fatale tests. So I think what we'll do is we'll have Jenny Butler take this test. She has a cunning value of 3, and she'll earn 2 extra for her competitive ability. So she'll be rolling a total of 5 dice. And here's the roll. And she has failed. She does not have the 6. So our choices are to have Jake Zane exert. That would be our choice. And I think he'll try it. We'll see if we can do this. When it's a 6, it's very tough. So he's going to take a wound. It'll be his 2nd wound out of 5, and we'll see if he can somehow get a 6. Here's the roll. No, he didn't. We'll try one more. It'll be his 3rd wound. And here is the roll. He didn't do it. Oh boy. Well, I don't think we're going to press this anymore. So what we're going to do is we'll turn this into a cliffhanger. And it's going to be a shootout. All right. And now we'll move on to Jacques Moreau's turn. He's currently in Rio de Janeiro. And if he can complete spending an adventure phase in the city, he's going to be able to complete his See the World personal mission. So Jacques is going to attempt a city adventure. And he draws the card Rooftop Chase. City Danger Chase, glory of 3. He'll need to pass an Agility 5+ test or a Cunning 6+ test to complete this Rooftop Chase. Jacques has an Agility of 2 only, and he has a Cunning of 3. So we have to decide. It's obvious the Agility test will be easier for him. A 5 is a lot easier to get than a 6. So I think we'll do the Agility test for Jacques. And he doesn't have anything else that can help him. So, all right, we'll do the Agility 5+ test. We need 2 successes. Here is the roll. And he's failed. Oh no. So he is going to go into a cliffhanger. And that cliffhanger is going to become the missed jump, and that's an Agility test. All right, we'll place that card on his card as a reminder, and he's in a cliffhanger. That's unfortunate. We'll move on to Dr. Zhukov. He is currently in a cliffhanger. It's a lava flow. Cliffhanger, climbing, lava, glory of 4. The heat from just being near the lava is enough to singe your eyebrows. You'll probably need to jump over the rivers of molten rock to get across. This is going to be an Agility 5+ test, and this is a deadly test. He needs to get both successes with a single roll of the dice. Unfortunately for Dr. Zhukov, he has an Agility value of 2, so he's only going to get 2 dice. He's going to need both of them to be successes. All right. Well, we'll make the roll and see what happens. If he can pass this, he'll have the final fortune at the tomb of Medusa. And then, even if he does that, he's going to have to take D6 hits or discard an ally in order to claim the artifact. So we'll see what happens. Here is the roll. And he's failed. So, not good. Now, Dr. Zhukov can double exert on these deadly tests, but he needs 2 successes. And the double exertion will allow him to roll an extra die. So he'd need to get 2 more successes. That's a total of 4 wounds. I don't think he's going to be able to do that. So I think what we're going to do then is, well, the truth is if he fails this, he's going to be KO'd anyway. So I suppose we'll try it. He's going to double exert, and that's going to give him 2 wounds, and he needs to get at least one success on this, otherwise he's not going to be able to complete this. So here's the double exertion roll. He's got one success. All right, he'll have to try it again, and he'll double exert again. That's 2 wounds, moving him up to 5 of 6 wounds. And if he can somehow get a 5 or 6 with this roll, he will have completed the danger and gaining the extra fortune. Okay, here is the roll. And he's failed. So Dr. Zhukov has failed the cliffhanger. That means that he is going to be KO'd and sent back to his hometown, which is Moscow. That's unfortunate. Oh boy. And now, since he was KO'd in a cliffhanger, we have to roll for collapse of the tomb of Medusa. It already has 1 collapse marker. So we're going to roll 3 dice, and for each 1 or 2, we'll add a collapse token. If 2 more tokens are put on it, it's going to collapse. And it is going to collapse. There's a total of 3 collapse markers going on. They're making it a total of 4 that exceeds the collapse rating of the tomb of Medusa. So the temple collapses. We have to roll for wounds for the villain that is there, and then if it KOs him, or if not, he would be, if it KOs him, he'll be KO'd. If not, he would be delayed. But the temple and the treasure are gone. Here's his wounds roll. He rolled a 6. So that's going to give him 6 wounds. He already has 1. That's 7. It's not enough to KO him. So the Inquisitor is going to be placed on the headquarters in a delayed condition. So the Inquisitor will be delayed. He'll be fully healed. Every time that a villain returns to headquarters, they're fully healed. So if it would have KO'd him, he would have been down for the count for an extra turn. So as it stands now, he's delayed. And that Tomb of Medusa is no more. So we'll move on now to the villain phase, and we'll begin with a villain event draw. This time it's Surge of Darkness. All villains immediately take an extra villain adventure step outside of the normal turn order. Move the villain track 1 step forward. All right, so what that means then is each of the villains would take a normal villain adventure step. So each of them is going to move 1 slot down, and both of them now are ready. The villain track is going to advance from 1 to 2. Next up is the outpost step. We'll roll a die, and a 4, 5, or 6. We'll place an acolyte. Roll is a 5, so an acolyte is coming on the board, and that's going to go on the lowest valued artifact that does not already have an acolyte. That's going to be the Spear of the Ancients. So an acolyte will be placed with the Spear of the Ancients. Next up now is the villain adventure step. Angelica Houston is ready, so she is going to deploy to the highest valued artifact on the board, and that's currently the Armor of Poseidon in Greece. So we're going to move her to Greece. So Angelica Hamilton now is in Greece, and she's going after the Armor of Poseidon. Now we move on to the end phase, and those acolytes are going to start producing successes for the Order of the Crimson Hand. We have 2 acolytes in the Spear of the Ancients, so that's going to gain 2 success markers there. 1 more and they will have acquired it. And 1 more in the Mask of the Cursed Eye adventure. That'll give them a total of 3. They need 1 more to get that. So we're getting in trouble there on those 2. Next up, we have to replenish the artifacts, and there will be 1 replenished. And that's revealed to be the Ring of the Damned, and has a curse. After completing each danger here, roll a d6. On a roll of 1 or 2, take a wound. All right, let's find out where that Ring of the Damned is going to be deployed to. And this time it's going to the Serengeti. All right. So the artifact appears in the Serengeti in Eastern Africa. The only step remaining now is for our KO'd heroes to revive. And I almost forgot, when Dr. Zhukov was KO'd, we needed to roll a die to surrender that amount of glory or items or allies. So here's the roll. He rolls a 6, so that's going to surrender the book 2 of the glory that he had. And he will stand up now and he's ready for action. And that's going to complete the round. All right, we're ready to begin the next turn and we'll roll for initiative. All right, the initiative is going to go to the blue player, which is Dr. Zhukov. So he's going to get the first player marker. Now we're going to roll for movement. And this time we've got no ones, so that'll be the movement rates for our players. We'll begin with Dr. Zhukov. He has a movement rate of 2. That'll be just enough for him to get to Greece. And he can maybe contest Angelica Hamilton. So he'll move into Eastern Europe and then into Greece. And that'll be his movement. Next up is going to be Jake Zane. Now, Jake Zane is in a cliffhanger along with Jenny Butler. So both Jake Zane and Jenny Butler will have no movement because they're in the cliffhanger. They are in a shootout. We'll move on now to Jacques Moreau. Jacques is in Rio de Janeiro and he's also in a city cliffhanger. So we'll move on now to our adventure phase and we'll begin with Dr. Zhukov. And Dr. Zhukov is going to undertake the adventure Dr. Zhukov and the Ring of the Damned. And his first danger is underwater diving. Danger, tech, and water has a glory of 3. And it reads, your search has led you to the water. Suit up in your heavy-duty diving suit and descend into the dark depths below the surface. Okay, it's a cunning 5+ test and he needs 2 successes. Now, Dr. Zhukov has the scientist ability. He adds 2 adventure dice during any tech or puzzle adventure. In this case, we have a tech, so he's going to gain 2 extra adventure dice. His cunning is a 5 plus 2. He'll be rolling 7 dice for this test. That's great. And here's his test roll, cunning 5+. And he's easily past that. He has a total of 4 successes. So that's going to earn him a danger marker. And now he has to decide if he wants to try to sneak past. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Angelica Hamilton has the vindictive ability. And this had to have been converted to a deadly test. Well, he's past that anyway, but this would have been considered a deadly test. Okay, so he's past that, and we have to decide if we're going to press on or camp down. If we camp down, we can take 1 danger per turn without having to sneak past the villain. So I don't know if we should. I think we will try to press on. So in this case, we will have to try to sneak past Angelica Hamilton. Angelica Hamilton has a search value of 4. I think Dr. Zhukov is going to take path 1 this time. So we'll be rolling 4 dice for Angelica's search value. And for every 1 that is rolled, he'll have to fight a round of combat against her. Okay, here's his sneak test. And he's done it. He has managed to sneak past her without any combat, so we'll move on to another danger for him. And this time it's poisoned food. Danger, treachery, poison has a glory value of 1. See if you can realize that the food has been poisoned, or just power through it with your iron stomach. You can either take the cunning test or take wounds. Roll under your current wounds on a d6. He'll definitely take the cunning test. He has a cunning of 5, so he'll try 5 dice for this test. Now this has to be a deadly test because of her ability. So, all right, here is the roll. And he has failed. All right. Well, Dr. Zhukov is going to double exert. Even though this is not a cliffhanger, because this is considered a deadly test, we can do that. So he's going to take 2 wounds, and that'll allow him to roll 1 extra dice to see if he can pass this. He only needs a 5 or a 6 to do it. So here's the roll. And he's failed. I think we'll try 1 more. He'll take 2 wounds, and that moves him up to 4 wounds out of 6, and we'll see if he can pass this roll finally. Okay, here is the test for poison food. And he's failed. Well, he can't double exert anymore because that would KO him. So this will have to go into a cliffhanger. And the cliffhanger is choking for breath, and that is what he's going to be up against during the next adventure phase. And now we're going to move on to Jake Zane and Jenny Butler in a combined cliffhanger called Shootout. All right, they're in a combined cliffhanger called Shootout. Cliffhanger, ambush, and fight. It's a trap. Clearly, they were waiting for you. Fight. Draw an enemy's card. For this fight, it has defense minus, +1. Defense +1. Okay, we'll draw an enemy's card. And the enemy's revealed to be hired goons. Infantry mob has a glory value of 5. They'll be rolling 5 fight dice, and it takes 4 wounds to take them out. Now they're going to have a defense of 1 for this fight. So we'll give them a defense +1 marker as a reminder. And we'll make the rolls for this first fight round. Jake Zane has a combat value of 4. He's going to be up first. And the hired goons have a combat value of 5. Okay, here's the first round. All right. Jake has done a total of 4 hits. 4 hits. And the goons have done 2 hits. Now each of them have a defense of 1. So 1 die will be absorbed. We're going to end up doing 3 hits to the hired goons. And Jake Zane is going to take 1 wound. Jake is currently at 4 out of 5 health. 4 wounds out of his 5 health. Hired goons now have 3 wounds on them. 1 more would do it. Now Jenny Butler will take over. And she is going to combat the hired goons. Now these are considered a mob. So she gains +2 fight dice for her competitive ability against the mob. So she'll be rolling a total of 4 dice. The goons will be rolling 5. She can just get 1 hit or 1 wound. That will win the battle. Okay, here is the roll. And she's done it. She has a total of 3 hits. The goons did 1. That'll be absorbed by her defense. The goons will have 1 absorbed for their defense, but 2 wounds are going to get through, and they've killed the hired goons, which is great. They're instantly going to gain 5 glory each, and that also gives them the 4th danger marker for completing that cliffhanger, which is enough to capture the mask of the cursed eye. Now, unfortunately, we have to fight the acolyte in order to take possession of this artifact. There's an acolyte that has been deployed there. Now our choices are we can either attempt to fight the Order of the Crimson Hand, or we can attempt to escape. And if we escape, we will gain that artifact. This is going to be an agility 5+ test with 2 successes needed. I think we're going to try the escape. We'll try to avoid the Crimson Hand and escape with the artifact. We'll have Jake Zane perform this. He has an agility of 4, so he'll be rolling 4 dice for the test. And we can have Jenny Butler provide assistance if he needs it. So here is the agility 5+ roll for Jake. And he's got the 2 successes right there, so he's done it. And they've managed to take that artifact. And the Order of the Crimson Hand acolyte will be removed from the board. That's great. And so we remove the acolyte from the board, And both investigators have taken the Mask of the Cursed Eye, and that has a value of 5. And I think what they'll do is we'll give that to Jenny Butler. We'll have her carry that for the time being. And now that Jenny Butler and Jake Zane have completed their combined adventure, we'll move on to Jacques Moreau and his cliffhanger, A Rooftop Chase. All right, Jacques Moreau is in Rio de Janeiro, and he's in a cliffhanger. It was a rooftop chase, and he missed his jump. He needs to perform an agility 6+ test, and he needs 1 success to pass this. Unfortunately, Jacques is not the most agile person. He has an agility of 2. We'll see if he can make this roll. And he's done it. He's got a 6. That's going to earn him 3 glory, and he's passed that missed jump. That is great. So now he can interact with the city. And the first thing he's going to do is he's going to use his personal mission, which was see the world. It says spend an adventure phase in each of the following cities. Rio de Janeiro and Sydney. We've completed the Sydney portion, and now he's in Rio. That'll earn him 3 fortune, which is outstanding. His new personal mission is research magic, recover a magic artifact. And his reward would be from now on gain +2 adventure dice on all tests while at a magic adventure. That's great. Incidentally, if we don't like that personal mission, we can spend 2 glory and draw another one, and then we can decide to either keep the existing one or take the new one. All right, he's going to interact with the city, and I think what Jacques is going to do is use his black market ability. It says he can buy gear and common items for 1 less than normal. And Jacques also has the Expedition Leader card, which allows him to not only carry up to 3 more gear than normal, but he can purchase common items for 1 glory less than normal. So he'll be saving 2 on the glory cost down to a minimum of 1, which is pretty good. Let's see what kind of common items he can purchase. Jacques has a total of 6 glory to spend. First one he's going to do is spend, in this case, 1 glory with the discounts, and he's going to purchase a horse, gain +1 movement for each turn. His next one will be a canteen, which will cost him 1. Heal a wound by activating the canteen. And his third one will be a map, and that also will cost him 1. He can discard that to cancel and redraw a danger he just drew, or he can discard to ignore all terrain icons in the space until the end of the round. So that'll be his equipment. And then he's going to spend his another point to heal his wound. So that'll cost him a total of 4 glory points. That'll leave him with 2. And he's fully healed, and he's got that new equipment now, which is great. All right, that's going to bring our adventure phase to a close. And we're going to move on now to the villain phase. And we'll begin the villain phase by drawing a villain event. This time it is malaria. Any hero in jungle terrain immediately takes D6 hits. Well, unfortunately, both Jenny Butler and Jake Zane are in the Andes, which is jungle terrain. Oh no. So the Andes has the jungle terrain, which matches that icon. So each of them are going to take D6 hits. We'll start out with Jenny Butler. She currently has 1 wound out of her 5 capacity. Here's her roll. And she rolled a 6. That's going to be modified to a 5 with her defense value. And that's enough to KO her. Oh no, and she also has the artifact. So we're going to have to make a roll for how much she's going to lose for being KO'd, and then make a separate roll for the artifact. Let's find out how much glory and items and allies she has to surrender. She rolls a 5. So she is going to have to surrender 3 glory and her burglar, which was an ally, and she's going to return to Los Angeles in a KO'd state. Now we have to roll for the artifact that she's carrying. Well, she's going to make a D6 roll, and on a roll of 1, 2, or 3, she's going to lose the artifact on top of this. Oh boy, here's the roll. She rolls a 5, so she's got the artifact at least. That's good. And she's returned to Los Angeles in a KO'd state. Now we're going to roll for Jake Zane. Jake has a total of 4 wounds out of his 5 capacity. So we'll have to see what happens here. Here's his D6 roll for hits. He rolled a 2. That's modified down to a 1 because of his defense. And unfortunately, I think that's enough to KO him. Yes, he has 4. That would move him up to 5 wounds. And Jake Zane now is KO'd. We'll have to roll for how much he has to surrender now. He rolls a 3, and he'll pay the 3 glory. And he's going to return to San Francisco in a KO'd state. Now, there is a mobster thug in San Francisco right now. All right, that's going to complete the draw villain event. We'll move on now to the outpost step. We're going to make a D6 roll. We have currently 1 outpost, 1 dark sanctuary in the Pacific Northwest. Make a roll, and on a 4, 5, or 6, they'll place an acolyte. It's a 2, so there will be no acolyte placed this turn. That's great. We'll move on now to the villain adventure step. Currently we have Angelica Hamilton, and she is in Greece seeking the armor of Poseidon. All right, Angelica Hamilton has a search value of 4. That's going to be modified down to 3 because Dr. Zhukov is in her space. So she'll roll 3 dice and attempt to get this artifact, the armor of Poseidon. She rolls 1 wound and no successes. So Angelica Hamilton will take a wound. That is her first wound out of her 4 health capacity. Next up is the Inquisitor, and he is going to deploy to the map. And I think I had an error on the last turn. The Inquisitor should have deployed already. He was in a ready condition last turn, and I forgot about that. So technically he is already at the Spear of the Ancients located in the Great White North. So he'll be doing his adventure roll now rather than deploying. So we'll make the roll for him. He has a search value of 5, so he'll be rolling 5 dice for this. And the acolytes that had deployed there had already collected 2 of the 3 needed dangers, which will now be applied to the Inquisitor. Here is the roll. And he's done it. He's got 2 successes and a wound. And that's going to be sufficient for him to collect the Spear of the Ancients. That has a value of 5. And we'll place that back at the headquarters of the Order of the Crimson Hand. The acolytes will return to the board, off board. The Inquisitor will move to the ready position, fully healed, and when they collect a artifact that moves the villain track up by 2. So the villain track is going to move from 2 up to 4. All right. That's going to complete the villain phase. We'll move on to the end phase. There are currently no acolytes deployed to any of the artifacts. Our next step now is to replenish the artifacts we have. Now there's 2 artifacts that are missing, so we're going to have to replenish with 2 artifacts. First artifact is the Shield of Loci, and we'll find out where that is going to be deployed to the map. That one is going into India. All right. Next artifact is the Cup of Death, and that one is going to appear in Germany. And incidentally, when the Crimson Hand recovered the Spear of the Ancients, that was a Fate artifact. So they're going to gain this Fate artifact chip, which is going to activate their special rule, Dark Knowledge. And from now on, while they have that, it says all rolls on the Crimson Hand tactics chart are +1 to the roll. So we've marked them accordingly. Our last step for the turn is our heroes are going to recover. Jenny Butler will recover in Los Angeles. She's fully healed. And also Jake Zane is going to recover in San Francisco, but he's going to have to combat that mob thug that has been deployed there, and he has to fight out of sequence right now. All right, Jake has a combat value of 4. The mobsters have 3 fight dice, so they'll be rolling 3 dice, and this will be the first round of combat. Hopefully Jake can win this without too much trouble. All right, here is the roll. All right, Jake has done 2 hits. The mobsters have done a total of 3. So Jake's defense will absorb 1 of those, and each side is going to take 2 wounds. So we'll mark the mobsters with 2 and Jake Zane with 2. We'll move on to a second round. All right. See if Jake can defeat these mobsters. And Jake has a total of 2 hits. The mobsters have done none. So 2 more hits will go through onto the mobsters, and they only have a wound capacity of 4, so he's defeated them and he instantly earns 3 glory. So that will defeat the mobsters. Jake Zane is now in San Francisco, but he has 2 wounds now. So he's got 2 out of his 5 wounds are used up. And that is going to complete this round of the game. All right, we're ready to start a new turn. We'll begin with the initiative rolls. All right, we have a tie. The black and blue dice are tied. We'll re-roll those for the initiative. And the blue is the highest roll, so that's going to be Dr. Zhukov will be our first player. Now we'll make the rolls for movement. All right, those are our rolls, and the red player, which is Jenny Butler, is going to be able to draw an event card. She draws the card Malaria, Event Terrain Disease. Play on any hero, enemy, or villain in a jungle space. They immediately take d6 hits, or while in a jungle space, during your adventure phase, gain 3 glory. All right, we'll begin with Dr. Zhukov. It'll be his movement phase, but he is in a cliffhanger, so he will not be able to move. All right, Jake Zane is up for movement next. He has 6 movement points, and I think we'll try to get him to India, and he can try to undertake that adventure for the Shield of Loci. So he's going to leave San Francisco. That's 1 movement point. 2 to get to the Pacific Crossing. He'll be able to transfer over to the other side for free. And he'll move into the South Pacific for 2 more. That's 5. And he enters into India for 6. Jenny Butler is up next. She only has 1 movement point, and I'd like to have her sell that Mask of the Cursed Eye, but the Crimson Hand has the card Wealth of Evil, and that allows them a chance at obtaining the artifact if we sell it in a major city. So I'm going to probably try to move her to a minor city, and I guess we'll have her move towards the bayou. So I'll have her move 1 movement point into the southwest. Jacques Moreau is up next. He has 3 movement points, plus his horse gives him +1. He'll have 4 movement points. So I think we'll try to get him to the Serengeti. And he'll spend 2 movement points into the South Atlantic, 3 into the Congo, and 4 into the Serengeti. And that'll be all of our movement. And now we'll start our adventure phase, and we begin with Dr. Zhukov. He's in a cliffhanger, and that's choking for breath, cliffhanger, treachery, poison, glory of 1. Yep, it was poison all right. Let's just hope you didn't eat enough for it to be fatal. Take d6 wounds, ignoring defense. All right, Dr. Zhukov already has a total of 4 wounds, so this is not going to probably end well for him. And we'll make the roll. He rolls a 1. Well, that's pretty good. We got lucky there. So he has completed the cliffhanger. He'll take an additional wound, moving him up to 5 out of his 6. And I think what he's going to do, he'll earn the glory automatically because that's a cliffhanger. We'll give him the glory, and I think he is going to camp down. And that will allow him to fully heal. And he has also received his second danger marker for the armor of Poseidon. He needs a total of 5 of those to acquire the object. So we're going to have him camp down. He'll fully heal, and that'll be the end of Dr. Zhukov's turn. We got a little lucky there. All right, Jake Zane is up next, and he's going to take an artifact adventure, and he's going to begin the adventure, Jake Zane and the Shield of Loki. Now this adventure has a fortune value of 5, and he needs 4 dangers to be completed. It has a special ability that says no gear may be used while on this adventure. So we'll start with his first danger. And he begins with Shadowy Castle, Danger, Fortress, Cult, and Sneak. Glory of 4. The dark keep on the hilltop stands tall against the grim sky. Find a way to sneak in or go back and see if anyone is home. Or go knock and see if anyone is home. Okay, he has the choice of, well, no, this is an and. He's got to either do the Lore 5+ test and a Cunning 4+ test, or fight an Order of Crimson Hand. All right, well, I think we're going to choose to fight the Order of the Crimson Hand. He has the personal mission called Cult Smasher, and if he can defeat a Crimson Hand in combat, he'll get a 1 fortune reward for that. So we're going to try to fight the Order of the Crimson Hand. And after reconsidering this, I think I'm going to do the Lore and Cunning test. The reason being is Jake Zane already has 2 wounds. And the Order of the Crimson Hand gets stronger as they take wounds. So I don't think that was going to work too well for him. So we're going to undertake the 2 tests, the Lore and the Cunning test. Unfortunately, he has a Cunning and Lore value of only 2. So either way, this is not going to be good, but we'll try it. We'll begin with the Lore. I guess we'll begin with the Cunning test, 4+. He'll be rolling 2 dice. Here's the roll. And he has 1 success, so we'll give him a success marker and he can continue rolling. He's got 1 more. He needs a total of 3, so he'll need 1 more to complete that first part. And he's done it. So we've got the 3 successes for the Cunning test, and now we got to do the Lore test. And this is a 5+ test. He only gets 2 dice. Here's the roll. It's got 1 success, so we're going to need 1 more, 5 or 6, and then we will have passed the Shadowy Castle. And he's done it amazingly. All right, so that's going to earn him a danger token. All right, that is great. And I think he's going to camp down. We'll earn our 4 glory for the Shadowy Castle, and he can fully heal. So I think that's what we'll do. So that's going to move Jake Zane up to 12 glory, and he's fully healed. We'll continue on now with Jenny Butler. All right, Jenny is in the Southwest, and this will be just a simple land adventure. We'll have her roll a die and see if she can earn an event card. She rolls a 6, and that is going to earn her an event card. We'll make the draw. This time she gets the card Expedition Leader. Event leadership, play immediately. Play on any hero, including yourself. That hero may now carry 3 more gear than normal and may purchase common items for a glory 1 less than normal remains in play. And I think we will give that to Jake Zane. So we'll play that on Jake Zane. Next up is Jacques Moreau. He is currently in the Serengeti in East Africa. And this is going to be the adventure will be Jacques Moreau and the Ring of the Damned. This artifact has a value of 4. He needs 3 successes, 3 dangers to be completed to collect it. And it does have a curse though. After completing each danger, roll a d6. On a roll of 1 or 2, take a wound. Alright, so we'll begin with Jacques Moreau's first danger. His first danger is Swampy Trail, Danger Swamp. Glory of 3. The trail leads off through the murky swamps. Try to find a way around the worst of it, or push on through to the heart of the bog. And our choices are a lore test. It says here that, and this danger does not, I can't make trouble reading that. It says this danger does not count toward collecting the artifact. All right. So the choices are a lore 4+ test or a cunning 5+ test with 3 successes. Jacques Moreau has a lore value of 3, so we're going to attempt that one. And he'll be rolling 3 dice for the test. Let's see if he can gain anything else from his equipment. Not really. All right, so this danger does not count towards collecting the artifact, so we just have to go through this and we won't gain any progress on it. So we'll try to pass this lore 4+ test. And he's done it, so he's completed that. We don't get any credit towards earning the artifact, but we'll push on. He does have 3 glory for this. The next danger is Mountain Climb. Danger climbing, glory of 1. You'll have to climb to get to the summit. Agility test, and he needs 3 successes. Requires an extra success while in a mountain space. Well, the Serengeti is a mountain space, so we're going to need a total of 5 successes. Oh boy. All right, Jacques Moreau has a agility rating of only 2. Well, he has the map, and what we could do is use the map to discard and cancel and redraw the danger we just drew. So I think we'll do that. He'll spend the map. That was a common item, and we're going to redraw for a new danger. The new danger is Car Chase. Danger driving chase, glory of 3. Outmaneuver and outrun the speeding car. It's also an agility test, and he's going to need 2 successes. We'll give it a try. He has an agility of 2. Here's the first roll. And he has failed. I have no other cards I can use unless one of the other players has one. And we'll see if there is anything we can do. No. So he's going to go into a cliffhanger. And that becomes fiery wreck. Okay, and that's what he'll have to deal with the next adventure phase. And that's going to complete our adventure phase. We'll move on to the villain phase. And we begin the villain phase by drawing a villain event. Let's see what happens to us this time. We have Hunter. Villain event upgrade. This card plays on a random villain in play. And that's going to give them a +1 to their search, remains in play. All right, so what we will do is we'll have to determine a random villain. So we'll take their villain tokens, and I'll just randomize those in my hand, and we'll draw one. And this time we have, that's going to be the Inquisitor. So we're going to place that card underneath the Inquisitor's display. And that's going to give him a +1 to his search. All right. Next up is the Outpost step, and we'll see if we are going to be deploying a Acolyte. Here's the roll. Roll's a 5, so an Acolyte will come out on the board. So we're going to place an Acolyte on the lowest valued artifact that does not have an acolyte, and that is going to be either the Ring of the Damned or the Cup of Death. And I think we'll place that on the Cup of Death. Now we'll move on to the villain adventure step, and we'll begin with Angelica Hamilton. She is in Greece. She's attempting to get the Armor of Poseidon. She has a search value of 4. That's going to be modified down to a 3, though, however, because Dr. Zhukov is in that space. So she'll be rolling 3 dice. Okay, here is the roll. And she has a total of 2 successes. So that's going to earn her 2 danger markers towards the progress of attaining the Armor of Poseidon. And that is going to be 2 of the 5 that she needs. All right, we'll move on now to the Inquisitor. All right, the Inquisitor is at headquarters and he's ready to deploy. So he's going to go to the highest valued artifact that does not have a villain on it, and that is going to be the Shield of Loci in India. We'll place the Inquisitor in India, and he's attempting to go for that Shield of Loci along with Jake Zane. That will complete the villain phase. We'll move on to the end phase. At the start of this phase, each acolyte is going to gain a danger marker towards collecting the artifact. So there is one out there, and that's going to be the Cup of Death, which is currently located in Germany. We have no artifacts to replenish, and none of our heroes are KO'd, so we'll begin a new turn. And we'll begin by rolling initiative. And this time, the white player, which is Jacques Moreau, is going to be the first player. The black and blue players will be able to draw event cards, and that's going to be Jake Zane and Dr. Zhukov. Jake Zane draws the event, Bold Action. Play on any hero, including yourself, to give them +5 adventure dice for 1 roll. Or play on any hero, including yourself, to give them +3 move this turn. That's a good card. That's going to go to Jake Zane. Dr. Zhukov's event is Adventure Gear. Play immediately. Every hero may immediately draw a gear card. That is outstanding. It says, let's gear up. Okay, every hero is going to gain a gear card. That is great. And we'll begin with the first player, and that's Jacques Moreau. He is going to get the revolver. That is a +2 to combat. That is great. We'll give him that. Next up is Dr. Zhukov. He gains a scimitar. +1 to combat, and he gains an extra +2 fight dice while in desert or jungle space. We'll give that to Dr. Zhukov. And now Jake Zane. He is going to gain Personal Library, Gear, Book, and Immobile. The location is his home city, so that's going to be in San Francisco. Gives him +1 to lore, and he can activate that to cancel an event or villain event on a d6 roll of 5+. All right. So we'll place the library marker in San Francisco, which is Jake Zane's hometown. And finally we have Jenny Butler, and she is going to gain a monocle, gear, clothes, glasses, +1 to cunning. Okay. And now we'll make our movement roll. All right. There are our movement values, and the black player, which is Jake Zane, is going to draw an event. And he draws the event, Spread of the Crimson Hand. Event Crimson Hand, play immediately. Place a Crimson Hand acolyte on any 2 artifact adventures. Limit 1 per artifact adventure. It says the Order of the Crimson Hand. Don't these guys ever quit? All right. And we are supposed to place Crimson Hand acolyte on any 2 artifact adventures. I think I'll place one on the Shield of Loci, and we'll place another one on the Armor of Poseidon. All right. All right, we'll begin with Jacques Moreau. He has 3 movement points, but he can't move. He is in a cliffhanger, the fiery wreck, so he'll remain where he is. Dr. Zhukov is in Greece, and he's attempting to find the armor of Poseidon. He has 2 dangers towards the 5 he needs of acquiring that, so I think he'll just stay where he is and continue on in his quest. Similar situation for Jake Zane. He has 1 movement point. He has 1 danger acquired towards achieving the Shield of Loki. He needs 3 more, so he'll just remain in India and see if he can acquire that artifact. And then we have Jenny Butler. She has 6 movement points. She's currently in the southwest, and I want to try to get her to a minor city so we can sell that artifact of hers without having to get involved with the Wealth of Evil Remains in Play event of the Crimson Hand. So we'll try to get her maybe to Barcelona. She's going to move 1, and 3 is 4, 5 into Western Europe, and 6 into Barcelona. All right, we'll begin with Jacques Moreau. He is currently in a cliffhanger in the Serengeti, and it's a fiery wreck. Cliffhanger fire driving, glory of 3. Jump from the car before it crashes and goes up in a massive fireball. This is an agility 5+ test. He has an agility of 2 only, so here's the roll. And he has 1 success, so we'll give him a success token and he can re-roll that. He needs 1 more to pass it. Here's the roll. And he's failed. Well, he's going to have to exert, so we're going to give him a wound token and he's going to roll an additional die. We'll see if he can pass this. Here is his roll. He's failed. We'll try it again. We'll give him another wound. That's 2 of 5. And we'll see if he can roll a success eventually. And he's done it. So he's passed the fiery wreck. He has 2 wounds. And that's going to award him a danger token. All right. He would need 2 more in order to acquire that artifact. I think he's going to try to press on. He draws the danger stowaway on a U-boat. Danger, Nazi, water, and sneak has a glory value of 3. Find a way in and sneak aboard or take out the guards. It's a cunning 5+ test and an agility 5+ test, or fight by drawing a Nazi enemy's card. Well, Jacques Moreau, he's got 2 wounds right now. He does have a cunning value of 3, so that wouldn't be too bad, but the agility test might be tough. I'm wondering if him with his combat value of 5 plus the revolver, I think we'll do that. We're going to draw a Nazi enemy's card and try to fight that. And the Nazi enemy is a Nazi officer. Escorted Nazi lieutenant. You must fight a Nazi soldier as a glory of +4, and this officer is going to add +1 to the fight dice and +1 defense. So the standard Nazi soldiers have a 4 value fight dice with 3 wounds, and the officer will give them an extra one, that's 5, and defense of 1. So we'll roll this out and see what happens. Jacques has 2 wounds right now out of his 5 health. He's going to be rolling a total of 5 combat dice +2 for the revolver. He'll roll 7. And the Nazi soldiers, led by the officer, will be rolling 5. And here's round 1 of the combat. All right, Jacques has done a total of 5 hits. He's done 5 hits to them. The Nazi soldiers have a total of 2 hits. Each of them have a defense of 1, so 1 will be soaked up by the defense. That means that Jacques did 4 wounds, and he ended up taking 1, and that's sufficient to take out the Nazi soldiers, so he's going to end up gaining a total glory of 7 for that. That is great. So that's going to earn Jacques another danger token for completing that, and I think he's going to camp down. He needs to heal up. He's at 3 of 5 wounds. So we'll have him heal up, and he's going to earn glory, 7 glory, and 3 glory for the fiery wreck, which is great. That's going to finish Jacques Moreau's adventure phase. We'll move on to Dr. Zhukov. All right, Dr. Zhukov has 2 dangers towards the 5 that he needs to acquire the Armor of Poseidon. So we'll see what his next danger will be. Now, unfortunately, Angelica Hamilton is there, and that's going to make whatever this is a deadly test. That's her special ability. And he draws the danger horse chase. Danger animal chase, glory of 2. You'll have to ride faster if you want to catch up to the speeding train. It's an ability 5+ test or a cunning 4+ test. And Dr. Zhukov is definitely going to take the cunning portion of that test. He has a cunning of 5, so he'll be rolling 5 dice. And he's going to need a total of 3 successes. He needs 4s. Here's the first roll. And he barely passed that. He's got 1, so we'll give him 1 success token towards completing that. And he can re-roll those. Okay, here is the next roll. Needs 2 more. And he's done it. He's got a total of 3 there. That will complete that danger. That is his 3rd danger that he has completed. And now we have to decide if we want to press on or camp down. If we press on, oh, wait a minute. This was a deadly test. This was supposed to have been a deadly test because of her ability. I forgot about that. So in that case, the deadly test would have been failed. He didn't get 3 successes with the first roll. So this is going to become a cliffhanger. And that is they're getting away. And we'll have to deal with that next round. So he did not get that danger token. It's unfortunate. Next up is Jake Zane. He's in India and he's seeking the Shield of Loki. He has 1 danger towards the 4 that he needs to acquire the artifact. And we'll start out with his first danger. Now the Inquisitor is in that space too, along with an acolyte. His first adventure danger is infiltrate secret Nazi base. Danger, Nazi sneak, glory of 3. Find an entrance and sneak past the guards or fight your way in. He has to do a cunning 5+ test and an agility 4+ test or fight a Nazi enemy. Well, Jake is brash. He's going to gain +1 cunning when he's adventuring with another hero or villain. So I think we'll try this combined test. We'll start out with the cunning test. He has a cunning of 2. He'll gain 1 for the brashness. He'll be rolling 3 dice. And let's see if we can pass this. And he's done it. He's got 1 progress marker that completes the cunning portion of that test. Now he's going to do the agility test, and he has an agility value of 4. So he'll be rolling 4 dice for this test. He needs 4s or greater. Here's the roll. He has 1 success, and we'll give him a marker to match that. And he's going to need 2 more. Here's the next roll. And he's got 2 successes. That will do it. That's going to earn him another danger token. That's his 2nd. He needs a total of 2 more to claim the artifact. He has no wounds, so I think we'll press on. We're going to have to sneak past the Inquisitor. All right, we have to sneak past the Inquisitor. Jake is going to have to select a sneak path, and he's going to choose 2 this time. Now, the Inquisitor has a search value of 5 and a +1 for its upgrade. It'll be rolling a total of 6 dice for this search effort. And here's the search roll. And we've rolled 1, 2. So Jake is going to have to combat the Inquisitor in 1 round of combat. Jake has a combat value of 4, so he'll be rolling 4 dice for this combat. The Inquisitor has a combat value of 3, so that'll be rolling 3 dice. And we have to roll 1 round of combat against that Inquisitor. Okay, here is the roll. All right, Jake has done a total of 2 hits. The Inquisitor has done a total of 2 hits. Jake has a defense value of 1 that will soak 1 point up. So the Inquisitor is going to gain 2 wounds and Jake will gain 1. So we'll mark the Inquisitor with 2 wounds and 1 for Jake Zane, and now he can continue with his adventures. His next danger is underwater diving, danger tech water, glory of 3. Your search has led you to the water. Suit up in your heavy-duty diving suit and descend into the dark depths below the surface. Okay, this is a cunning 5+ test. Jake is brash. He gains +1 to cunning, so he'll be rolling 3 dice for this test. We'll see if he can pass this. He needs 2 successes. Here is the roll. And he has 1 success. We'll give him 1 progress marker, and he can re-roll that. He's going to need 1 more to pass this. And he's done it. So we've passed the underwater diving. That is going to award Jake another danger token, and we're within 1 danger of acquiring that artifact. I think we're going to press on. So we're going to need to sneak past the Inquisitor, and he's going to be a little tougher now as he gains +1 to his combat for each wound he has. But I think we'll try it. Jake is going to select path 2 again, and the Inquisitor's total search is 6. So he'll be rolling 6 dice for this search effort. Any 2s, and we got to fight combat with the Inquisitor. Here is the roll. And we've rolled no 2s. We've managed to sneak past the Inquisitor. So we're going to draw a danger, and if he can complete this, he will have taken the Shield of Loci. And this time it's hostile territory, danger, Nazi sneak, glory of 4. Nazis, who invited these guys to the party? He needs to pass a cunning 4+ test, and this is a deadly test. He needs to get 3 successes. All right. His cunning value is 2 plus the 1 for brash. That'll give him a total of 3 dice. And he can, since this is a deadly test, he can double exert if necessary. So let's see if he can get some successes here. We need a 4 or greater. Here's the roll. He's got 2 successes. He's got 2 of them. So we can add an additional die. We can't re-roll these, but we can add additional dice for double exertion. So that's what he's going to do. We're going to give him 2 wounds, and that will allow him to roll an additional dice, and we'll see if we can somehow pass this. Okay, here is the roll. And he's failed. And I can't double exert anymore because that would KO him. So this is going to turn into a cliffhanger, unfortunately. And the cliffhanger becomes firefight. All right. And that was costly for Jake Zane. He lost 6 glory that he earned from the previous 2 dangers. That'll complete his turn, and we'll move on now to Jenny Butler, and she's in Barcelona. All right, Jenny is in Barcelona, Spain, and she's going to undertake a city adventure. If she can get to the point where she can interact with the city, she's going to sell that Mask of the Cursed Eye. She draws the city card, pick up a contact, city event, draw an allies card. All right, the flavor text reads, what do you think? Are you in? All right, let's draw an allies card for her. And she gets the ally, Damsel. Ally, female, social, +1 to agility. She can activate the ally and gain +3 adventure dice for any femme fatale test, or gain +3 fight dice for 1 fight round against a female enemy or villain. And her flavor text is, ooh, I broke a nail. It's a loyalty of 3. Now, Jenny Butler has a card, and I think we're going to try this. She's going to play the card, an event card, Malaria. Play on any hero, enemy, or villain in a jungle space. They immediately take D6 hits. So we're going to play that on the Inquisitor in India. All right, India is a jungle space. We'll roll a D6, and that's the number of wounds that the Inquisitor will take. He has a health value of 8. He's got 2 wounds already. Here's the roll. Rolled a 2, so he'll take 2 additional wounds, moving him up to 4. And we'll mark him accordingly, 4 wounds. Now Jenny has the ability to either poke around at the docks and see what's down there and then interact with the city, or she can just interact with the city. And I think we'll try it. We're going to see what's in the docks. So she's going to poke around in the docks. And she finds, draw a gear. That's great. Jenny draws the gear card, elephant gun. Gun, gear, ranged weapon, and gun. Combat +3, you may ignore enemies' defenses. All right. Now she's going to interact with the city, and she's going to sell the Mask of the Cursed Eye. And that's going to give her a total of 5 fortune, and that's going to move us up to a total of 8 out of the 48 that we need. And that's going to complete our adventure phase. Jenny does not have any glory to spend, otherwise she could use that to purchase some items or allies, but she doesn't have any, so we'll move on now to the villain phase. All right, we'll start our villain phase with a villain event draw. And we've got Forbidden Knowledge. Villain event, upgrade. This card plays on a random villain in play. +2 wounds remains in play. All right, we'll draw a random villain. All right, we'll randomize those villain tokens and draw one out. And we get Angelica Hamilton. She's going to gain Forbidden Knowledge, giving her 2 wounds. That's not good. All right. Next is the Outpost step. We'll roll for the Dark Sanctuary in the Pacific Northwest and see if an Acolyte is placed. And it will be placed. Each artifact currently has an Acolyte, so it has to go in the Ring of the Damned. Now we'll move on to our villain adventure step. Angelica Hamilton is in Greece and she's seeking the Armor of Poseidon. She currently has 2 dangers towards the 5 that she needs. She has a search value of 4, but that's going to be dropped by 1 because of Dr. Zhukov. Here's her roll. And she rolls 2 successes. So she's going to gain 2 more successes towards achieving that item. And now the Inquisitor is going to attempt to take the Shield of Loci. He has no danger tokens yet towards the 4 that he needs to acquire it. He has a search value of 5, but because of, 6 with his bonus, but he'll lose 1 because Jake Zane is there. He'll be rolling 5 dice total. Okay, here is his roll. And he has 3 successes, and he's going to take a wound. So that is the Inquisitor's 5th wound out of a wound capacity of 8, and he has 3 successes towards achieving his victory of taking the Shield of Loci. He'll need 1 more to do that. And unfortunately, each of these artifacts has acolytes, so that is going to go towards them earning those artifacts. And now we're going to move on to the end phase, and these acolytes are going to be doing some damage for us. Now in this step, each of the acolytes is going to be earning a danger token towards achieving their goal of taking those artifacts. And unfortunately, with the work that Angelica Houston and the Inquisitor have done, each of these is going to gain 1. And 1 more for each of the other 2. And that means that the Armor of Poseidon and the Shield of Loci, 5 dangers, 4, and 4. Both of those artifacts are going to be taken by the Order of the Crimson Hand. And by gaining those artifacts, they're going to gain tokens for might and for magic, which is going to help them for their dark knowledge. And by acquiring those artifacts, Angelica will return to headquarters in ready condition. She's fully healed. Same thing will happen to the Inquisitor. He's fully healed and he's back at HQ. Now they've acquired 2 additional artifacts, and that's going to move the villain track up by 4. So the villain track will move from 4 up to 8, and when we get to 15, we're going to lose. We're going to have to kick it into high gear. And now we'll have to replenish our artifacts. There's 2 of them gone now, and we'll replenish those. So we've got the Sword of the Golden Mummy that will appear in Persia, and the Amulet of Atlantis that will appear in Manchuria. And so that is going to bring our end phase to a close, and I think we'll end the video here. Heroes have not done extremely well. We've got a total of 8 fortune out of 48 that we need, and the villain track is already at 8. So we're going to have to try to step up our efforts, I think, in the next video. Well, that about closes this video out. We'll regroup for episode 3 with our next video. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Solo Gamers Club, and I hope to see you again in the next video as we play through Fortune and Glory, the Cliffhanger Game. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.